Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to practice phrasal verbs for IELTS. I'll show you a sentence with a blank and 3 options. Your job is to choose the correct phrasal verb. After that, I'll explain the answer and give examples so you can really understand it. Get ready, take notes if you want, and let's start with the first question. Governments should not simply promise reforms. They must also blank their plans effectively. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is carry out. Carry out means to perform or complete a task. So in this case, governments must carry out their plans. Now let's look at the other options. Carry on means to continue. For example, despite the challenges, the university decided to carry on with its international exchange program. Carry over means to move something to another time or situation. For example, some of the research funding will be carried over to the next academic year. So remember, when you talk about completing tasks or implementing policies in IELTS writing, the best choice is carry out. Let's continue with the next question. The company had to blank expenses in order to remain competitive in the market. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is cut down. Cut down means to reduce the amount of something. So here, the company had to cut down expenses to stay competitive. Now, let's check the other options. Cut off means to stop the supply of something. For example, the government cut off internet access during the protest. Cut out means to remove or eliminate something completely. For example, many people cut out sugar from their diet to improve their health. So in an IELTS writing task to essay, if you're talking about reducing costs, energy use, or pollution, the natural choice is cut down. Let's continue with the next question. Many young people now blank higher education as a way to improve their career prospects. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is look upon. Look upon means to consider or regard something in a particular way. So here, young people look upon higher education as an opportunity for better careers. Now, let's go through the other options. Look into means to investigate. For example, the university is looking into new methods of online teaching. Look forward to means to be excited about something in the future. For example, students often look forward to graduation day. So remember, in IELTS speaking or writing, if you want to say people regard or see something in a certain way, you can use look upon. Let's continue with the next question. Despite the difficulties, the researchers managed to blank with a new solution to the problem. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is come up with. Come up with means to think of or create an idea or solution. So here, the researchers managed to come up with a new solution. Let's check the other options. Come across means to find something by chance. For example, during my research, I came across several useful articles. Come out means to be released or published. For example, the results of the study will come out next month. So remember, in IELTS writing or speaking, if you want to say someone creates an idea or finds a solution, the natural choice is come up with. Let's move on to the next question. The government has blank new policies to tackle climate change. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is set up. Set up means to establish or create something. So here, the government has set up new policies to fight climate change. Now, let's look at the other options. Set aside means to save or reserve something. For example, the government set aside funds for renewable energy projects. Set back means to delay progress. For example, the flood set back the construction of the new railway. So remember, in IELTS writing, when you talk about establishing policies, organizations, or systems, the best phrase is set up. Let's continue with the next question. Many developing countries depend blank international aid for economic growth. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is depend on. Depend on means to rely on something or someone. So here, many developing countries depend on international aid. Now, let's check the other options. Depend in is not correct in English. Depend over is also incorrect. Only depend on is used naturally. Let's move on to the next question. The government has blank new policies to tackle climate change. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is point out. Point out means to identify or highlight something. So in this case, students are encouraged to point out weaknesses in the argument. Now, let's look at the other options. Point to means to indicate something. For example, the data clearly points to a rise in unemployment. Point at means to physically gesture towards something. For example, the teacher pointed at the chart on the screen. So remember, in academic discussions or debates, which is useful for IELTS speaking part 3, the natural phrase is point out. Let's continue with the next question. Scientists are trying to find blank the causes of global warming. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is find out. Find out means to discover or learn information. So here, scientists are trying to find out the causes of global warming. Let's check the other options. Find up is not a correct phrasal verb. Find over is also incorrect. Only find out works naturally. Let's continue with the next question. Universities should not blank too many changes without proper consultation. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is bring about. Bring about means to cause something to happen. So here, universities should not bring about too many changes without consultation. Now, let's look at the other options. Bring up means to mention or raise a topic. For example, the professor brought up the issue of plagiarism during the lecture. Bring forward means to move something to an earlier time. For example, the exam was brought forward to Monday. So remember, in IELTS writing, if you want to talk about causing change or results, the best choice is bring about. Let's continue with the final question. The manager stressed the need to deal blank customer complaints quickly and effectively. You have 5 seconds to think. And the correct answer is deal with. Deal with means to handle or manage a situation. So here, the manager emphasized dealing with complaints efficiently. Now, let's check the other options. Deal in means to trade or do business in something. For example, that company deals in imported electronics. Deal out means to distribute. For example, the teacher dealt out the exam papers to the students. So remember, in IELTS writing and speaking, if you want to talk about managing problems or responsibilities, use deal with. And that's it. You've completed all 10 phrasal verb questions. If you enjoyed this exercise, keep practicing and try to use these phrasal verbs in your own IELTS answers. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and check out the playlist for more IELTS practice. See you in the next lesson.